Were you allowed to have friends over when you were a child? I'm not talking about sleepovers. I'm just talking about like, your friends would come over and play in your room and, that kind of thing. I wasn't at all, ever. Zero. Like my mother's house, hell to the no. I knew not even to ask. And the odd time if there was another little friend over, and I say friend this way because it wouldn't be someone like one of my schoolmates or a neighborhood kid or anything like that. It would be because one of her friends had a child. And I loved that. Like those were the best times, very far and few between. I had a best friend. I was living in Keystone Point in North Miami Beach or in North Miami, not North Miami Beach, sorry, in North Miami. And I had a best friend who lived around the corner, pretty much across the street. And I spent a lot of time at her house. I'd have dinner there sometimes if my mother would let me escape that long. But like we were really close, frick and frack, went to the same school, the whole thing. I think she might have been a year older. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. And I remember there was a point in time where she would come to my door to come get me and she kind of peek in and I knew that I wasn't allowed to let her in. And what a strange situation for a child to be in. And I remember feeling uncomfortable. I would, squeeze out the door and just, and there wasn't like, it wasn't like we were a house of like, well, we were the opposite of a house of hoarders. There was no furniture. There was like lots of marble flooring in our house. Eventually there was a dining room table. But like my mother spent most of the money on what was hanging in her closet, the bidets that she had to add to both bathrooms. Like, I guess she had a master plan of turning this into something, but that's not where we were, and we never got there in that house. So there never really was furniture. It was like a bowling alley in that house. Anywho, I had a bedroom set. I had a room. I didn't really have toys. My mother didn't allow me to keep toys. And when I got more than one or two, they would disappear. Like she was that person. At some point, Cindy's like, can I come in? Can I see your room? And I'm like, you can't. My mother doesn't allow. And I remember her like kind of looking at me. I felt so embarrassed, and I didn't have a reason to give her because you don't ask my mother why. Are you kidding? So she'd ask from time to time again, and I'd be like, I can't. I know I can't. Like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, in no universe can I bring her into the house to see my room or anything like that. There was this one day where my mother was, I'm pretty sure, out of town. And I didn't know how long. I never knew how long she was going to be out of town for. I was 11. And you'd think I would know 2 weeks, 10 days. I'm not like a 4-year-old, right? And nope, didn't ask. Definitely not. I would be very happy she was out of town. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't tell me how long so that, I could relax. Wow, I never really thought about that before. Okay, well, that'll be something I think about a little bit later. So my mother's out of town. I don't know how long. And I sneak my little friend into my room and she gets to see it. And it's nothing like her room. Like, yeah, I had nice furniture, but it didn't look like a child's room. It looked like a guest room. And I look back at that now and like her room had, magazines back then. It was Tiger Beat or Teen Beat. Like, it was Christy McNichol and Leif Garrison. Oh shit, I'm really remembering stuff. All those sorts of things. Brooke Shields on Vogue and, maybe that was a little past that. I don't know. But I remember like her room had posters and stuff and whatever. And my room didn't even look like I lived there. And I remember her looking around and then I snuck her back out because I didn't know if the housekeeper would tell me or not. Looking back, I know she wouldn't have. And I didn't know when my mother was coming back. So the whole time she was looking in my room and I was showing her my room. It's the only place I brought her. Like I took her right through the hallway into my room. I was on pins and needles because I didn't know when my mother was going to be back. So I got her out really, really quickly. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, it's really sad that my mother created a traumahood for me instead of a childhood. And that traumahood included being on pins and needles every minute of the day for every reason you can imagine. Something so ordinary as just, having friends over or a friend. The amount of control my mother needed. She she's still alive, just absolutely sadistic. Sadistic, yeah. Let me know if there's something else you want me to talk about, if there's something you've experienced, if you have a question. And just so you know, just because I have soft feelings around that, just because that still hurts me, doesn't mean that that's where I'm living my life. I know someone's going to get over it. It wouldn't be, the things that people say. And I don't care about those things. I don't live my life for other beings. I'm walking through life from the inside out. And just because something hurts me doesn't mean that I'm like in a bad place. I'm in a really great place in my life. It's why I can talk about these things. And I think it's also why those kinds of memories are coming into more focus for me now. I'm putting pieces together of things that have impacted my life in pretty negative ways that are giving me a sense of, pieces are giving me peace, for lack of a better way to put it. And I'm in the best place in my life that I've ever been. In every way that I can describe. And I'm grateful to have made it to this point. And I remember when my therapist, 25 years ago used to tell me, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It gets better. When I was in a place where I pretty much couldn't make it through a day without crying or feeling like there was something wrong with me. And I would look at her like, that's not, I don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't know that it's there. And for anyone going through that now, she was telling the truth, and it is true. And the work that I put in to get here, I would do it 10 times over, knowing where I am now. And I hope that this inspires you and gives you encouragement just to keep on, processing through what you need to process through. Don't minimize what you've been through, and love yourself. Just because you had a parent who taught you weren't lovable doesn't mean that you can't learn to love yourself, because at the end of the day, they were the ones who weren't lovable, not you. You were just a little girl or a little boy. It had nothing to do with you. It was done to you by somebody who didn't deserve you. Yeah. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon.